When I look back at the men I chose to love, it's clear now. I wasn't choosing with my heart. I was choosing with my trauma. I was a dismissive, avoidant attachment style woman who had no clue of what a healthy, secured attachment style of loving was. Welcome, my loves, to the Hardened and Healed Podcast. Hey loves, let's sit on down. So thank you so much for allowing me back into your home again. Y'all already know what I'm going to say. It's about this childhood trauma, and we're trying to get back to the basics. We're trying to figure this thing out. So welcome to Hurt, Harm, and Healed Podcast. I am your host, London Wilson, LW, and I am here to discuss not only just trauma, but triumph. I realize that maybe the topics leading up to now have been a little bit heavy, and it's really about digging deep. But I do want to talk about the bright side of digging deep. So if you have done some digging, if you have done some thinking, and you're now like, now what? Now it's time to get to the other side. That's the whole focus. That's the whole goal, is to how to stop childhood trauma from affecting our adulthood future. Because we want to be the best adults that we can be. I mean, I know not just me. I think there's a lot of you out there that could vouch for that as well. So I'm always going to push for you to please take the assessment test for your attachment style behavior. This is going to be vital to your improvement, to your journey, and to your healing. Also, too, for those who realize that they're uncovering a lot of things, I ask that you seek professional help. Therapist, a clinical psychologist, a psychiatrist, even just someone who actually can help you peel back those layers, get to the bottom, and then also get beyond it. So I don't want to just open wounds and then you're just out here like, oh wow, now this makes sense, now what? That's not the goal. So the goal is for us to get to the healing side of things and stay there. Right? We have to stay there. So if you're unfamiliar, we talk about secured and unsecured attachment styles and how it affects a lot of decision making, if not all the decision making that we make in our lives. Now, as we get older, some of us do morph into more secured style attachment, just based on circumstances and situations, or just having a healthy understanding of what that looks like. So if you're not familiar with any of the attachment styles, I'm going to list it here. And I implore you to do some digging and diving for yourself. Education is key. Knowledge is power. And that's what we're trying to instill. We're trying to give knowledge so that we can be not only the best representatives of Christ, but be able to actually draw people to Christ. Because if you're all this good for yourself, but you're not good for anybody else, what's the point? What is that? What's tea? Why would we do that, right? So anywho, last topic was getting a little bit deep. We were talking about women and picking bad boys. And in all fairness, I want to talk to the men. I know it's always about the ladies. We run the world. But let's talk to the men. Let's talk to the men about their picker. And maybe why they're choosing clingy women. Or maybe, you know what? Let's get past clingy women, because clingy women probably is really obvious. It's because they like the attention. They like to feel needed. They like to feel wanted. But what about the men that have the disrespectful, demeaning, manipulative, what's the other word that I want to say? Man-eating. No, that's not the word. What's the word when you emasculating? That's it. Why do men pick those type of women? Childhood trauma. Do y'all not realize the common theme here? I'm still going to say the same thing. It's childhood trauma at the end of the day. So get in here. Let's get close and let's talk about it. First off, it probably sounds irrational for a man to pick a woman that is disrespectful to him. It just doesn't make any sense. What man would sign on to that and stay? Well, could be a host of reasons. One could be that's the way he was spoken to coming up. Maybe his mom or his grandmom, or even like an older sibling, like a sister, an auntie, a big cousin, somebody spoke to him in that way. And so that is actually his norm. He's used to being reduced or minimized or overlooked. That has become his norm. And so as we become adults, sometimes we gravitate to the things that we know. Even as unhealthy of an environment as it is, not only do we gravitate to that, but we also cultivate that. So if the environment does not have that, we create it because it's our sense of norm. We understand that environment because we've learned to live and adapt in it. So when we get into other environments that don't mimic the environment that we grew up in, it's weird and it's awkward. So a man that chooses a disrespectful woman or wife really is actually tapping into a behavior, a system of events that has happened and now is his norm. And though he can feel in his core that this is unhealthy and this isn't what he wants, he just doesn't know how to get out of it and attract differently, because we are the company that we keep. So you have to know that there's some toxicity going on within that man if he's surrounded by this woman who is definitely reacting to her own personal trauma. And now he is getting the brunt of that. So it's like the homie that you talk to and you're like, dude, why you let her disrespect you like that? Why you let her talk to you like that? Why you let her dismiss you like that? Even though he can identify with it being wrong, he can't identify with what's right. If he hadn't seen it, if there were no examples of it in his childhood, in his peers, when we're peers, we go over to friends and family houses. And if the behavior mimics the same that's at home, it's a community of wrongness, but it's a community. And so it literally isn't the thing that you think you need to change. It's the thing that you think you need to survive. So as you become an adult, do you expect a woman to be nurturing and loving and kissy face and just attentive? No, you don't. And if you get a woman that does that, it freaks you out. Like either she wants something or she's not for real. Those type of women you will discard. You will take advantage of them. You will take what they have to offer, but they're not what you're used to. And so you don't even know how to show up for that type of woman. When a woman is loving you and tending to your needs and being attentive and pouring into you, because that is so foreign, you reject it. You reject it and you don't identify with the normalcy of that. In fact, it makes like an antenna go up. The triggers like, wait a minute. This from a woman who loves me? No, I know how the women who love me treat me. I know how they talk to me. I know how they make me feel. And this woman is not doing that. And even though it feels good, it doesn't feel normal. Knowing your attachment styles is very important to this particular situation or this particular response, because it will explain to you what your response is to your partners. So when you have a woman that is being totally opposite of what you understand to be normal, and then you look at your attachment style, you go, okay, this is why I broke that off. This is why she left. This is why I left her. This is why we couldn't get along. This is why I'm over here with, I don't want to say names because but then I don't want to say ghetto names because this is not race intended. Like, it's really humanity. It's literally like, I don't care the nationality, this happens. Attachment styles are across the board. I can't say if they're in animals, I don't know. But as far as in humans, you are one of those attachment styles, and you are going to respond according to that attachment style until you fix it, until you decide to be secure. But in being secure, sometimes it does need counseling. first of all, let's start with prayer. Let's line this thing up. So you have prayer, then you have counseling. The reason prayer should come first is, one, because you need to identify. You need God to show you who you are, and more importantly, who He has called you to be. Because then you can see the distance of where you are and where you should be. Because everything is not measured in success. The most precious success you could ever have is in your being, is in yourself. Millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire. If you're not a successful person, if you're not a successful human being within, all that other stuff is really just going to draw falsehood. It's going to draw a lot of false people, a lot of fake people, a lot of fake relationships, a lot of a lot of not positive energy. That's not what you want. So we're going to start with prayer, because we're going to ask God, show me. I am getting in my way. These relationships are not working, whether it be at work, at home, at church. They're not panning out, or they're all over the place. I might have good relationships here and not good relationships there. Or I have great relationships, but it doesn't feel authentic because I'm not being me. I'm people pleasing. So when that happens, the only person who can tell you about you is God. He made you. You got to go back to the manufacturer, right? You got to pull up the Bible. You got to pull up them instructions and figure out what is going on. Then you ask Him to lead you to great counsel, i.e. a therapist, or maybe your pastor, or whomever you can seek wisdom. Because everybody talking ain't talking wise. Yeah, I said ain't. Everybody who talking ain't talking wise. Know that. But someone who can actually pour into you, shed light, and someone who you'll accept truth from. Do not go to people who you don't value their opinion. If you don't value their opinion, then you won't follow their advice. And y'all are just killing time. But after you find counsel, you really got to tap in. You ask God for discernment to make sure that what you're receiving, because somebody can give it to you right, but you can take it wrong. That happens. So you also have to have discernment to be able to say, oh, this don't really feel good, but God, if this is for me, let me know. Give me confirmation. So when it comes to picking the people that we're going to have in our lives, because we don't get to pick family, but we get to pick partners and we get to pick peers. It's all on you. The people who are wreaking havoc in your life, your baby mama with all that drama, it's on you. It's on you. I had a conversation with a guy who is a relative of one of my kids. I'm gonna just put it blank like that. And we had this whole discussion about conception, right? A woman getting pregnant and what rights do a man have. And we were at a crossroads. And then I was able to, because he thought I was kind of bullying the conversation. I really wasn't trying to bully the conversation. He just didn't want to answer the facts. That's what it was. So I was not allowing him to move forward without acknowledging the facts. So the conversation kind of went something like this. This is going to be good. So we're talking, and he's talking about, baby mama, and it was a one night stand, and it was never intended. And I said, whoa. What do you mean it was never intended? He said, yeah. He said, I never intended to get her pregnant. Told her I didn't want the baby. Or maybe he did. I can't remember. But either way, she made the decision to keep the baby. And so a lot of men, a lot of you out there feel it's unfair for the woman to make that decision if you decided that you don't want the baby. You didn't decide that you don't want the baby. You decided that you don't care. if she gets pregnant or not. Because you didn't prevent it. Now, it's going to be, the woman and da-da-da-da-da. I had a guy say, well, if she let me shoot up the club, that's on her. Go to a club and shoot it up and see who's going to jail, you or the club owner. You going to jail. You paying for damages and everything else that comes along with that, i.e. child support. So go and shoot up the club. Oh, well, she let me. No, you let you. Because I'm going to say this and take it how you want. Men have full 100% control of conception. 100% control. The ball, no pun intended, is in the man's court out the gate. He said, she could have told me to put a condom on. You could have told you to put a condom on. You know, are you around here riding around without a seatbelt because you need somebody to tell you to put a seatbelt on? No. You put a seatbelt on because you know that you want to be safe. Whether you're going from here to the corner or here to the other side of the world. You want to be safe, you put a seatbelt on. Plain and simple. So someone having to tell you, i.e. the woman that you're about to sleep with, telling you you have to put a condom on is insane to me. Just hear me out. Just hear me out. Because women, we have equal responsibility, but our responsibility comes second. Not first, second. A man's seed is his own seed. The only person who has it is him. The only person who could obtain it is her. But how does she obtain it? He has to give it to her. She don't take it. He has to give it to her. So if from out the gate, before the smash and dash, the semen, the ball is in your court, and you pass it to your opponent gets to do whatever they want with the ball, i.e. semen, i.e. your seed. That's their choice. Because it has left your vessel, your body, and it has now been passed to her vessel, her body. So this is why men don't get the decision-making part of keeping or not keeping the baby. Because it is now in their body to do what they choose. Now, we can argue fair or not fair all we want. The fact still remains. It's in her body. It left your body and went to her body. Only person did that was you. Because there's some other options that you could have done with it. One is you could have just kept it to yourself and decided, no, this ain't somebody that I see in my future. This ain't somebody I want to have a future with, much less a baby. So she ain't a good representation of somebody to even keep my seed or birth my seed. 2, you can put it in a condom. Now, we're not talking about the condoms that break. Wah, 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 wah. We're not talking about those. We're talking about the actual lack thereof. We're talking about not using them. So that is another place to facilitate your seed. And then there's the old pull-out option. Now, when you pull out, wherever you choose to place it, we ain't going to be explicit, but wherever you choose to place it, outside of her womb, outside of her female parts, is safe grounds. So with that being said, that's 3 different options a man has to prevent pregnancy before it, because this does not deny sex. Not being married should deny sex, but these 3 options, with the exception of 1, does not deny sex. In a condom or outside of a condom and outside of the female canal, hey, I mean, it's impossible to conceive. Now, there are people who don't get it out in time, and that's on you, because you have to know. you have to know when you're going to pull the trigger. She has no idea. So that's on you when you get the bullet out of the chamber. But if all goes well, the man has complete autonomy as to whether or not a woman conceives. That's it. So do you get to say after conception, I don't want the baby? No. You don't get to say, I gave you the baby, but I don't want it. And you can't have it either. So get rid of it. You don't get to do that. Fair, not fair, however it is, you don't get to do that. You don't get to, if you gave a robber your wallet full of money, do you expect the robber to bend the corner and come back and give you your wallet back? You don't. You know, once the robber has taken off, they've taken off. So this goes to, she wanted to get pregnant. She tried to trap me. No. I mean, who sets a trap and walks into it? Like who? Like, men. Like, when y'all really get the weight of, there is no way for this woman to get pregnant if I do what I need to do. I know we talking about the heat of the moment, or she said she was on birth control. I don't care. When there's something that you don't want, you do whatever you can do to not have it. Now, spouses that lie, that's just wrong. That's just flat out wrong. Because there should be some level of trust. I'm speaking more so to companionship, situationships, relationships where there isn't a covenant, there isn't a vow in place, there isn't a God in the midst. That's different. I think that is a complete violation. As a spouse, husband or wife, you should not be able to make conception decisions without your other part. That should be an absolutely no. But prior to having a spouse and just having a relationship or lack thereof, if it's a homie, lover, friend, and we just hitting it up, because this individual tried to explain to me that it was the heat of the moment. Like, I didn't even really want to, but she was pushing it. That's a sad way to describe it. That is an extremely sad way to describe the conception of your child. Is that I didn't want it. I didn't really want her, but she kept pushing. I can see if you wanted her and you didn't want her to get pregnant, but you ain't even really want her. Why y'all laying down with people y'all don't even really want to give it to? Y'all don't even want to get it from. Why? I don't know. I guess we women will never know why men choose. We know why. Childhood trauma. Oh gosh. So this is getting a little strong, a little heated. So I'm going to go ahead and input this little video just to kind of lighten the energy, and then I'll be back. Okay? Are we still friends? Are we still family? Am I still welcome into your home? I hope so. So stay tuned. Hello, God. Guess who it is? Your favorite saint. Okay, one of your favorite saints. But listen, I know you got a lot going on. I just want to ask you a quick question, because I was in my Bible and there was a little section in there, you know, the part that says men will work by the sweat of their brow. You were just talking about men when you say that, not women, right? Just men working by the sweat of their brow. Because I know there's a little clause in there for us women that says that we will have pain during childbearing. And I've actually done my part 3 times, in fact. I mean, I know you know that, but I was just wondering, because it seems like after that, I'm now working by the sweat of my brow. Did I get the roles mixed up? Can someone give me some clarity on that? Because I think I'm doing something wrong. I've done my part. And we're back. So back to, because I don't want to get off in a tangent. I don't want to piss the internet off. But back to men choosing women who are disrespectful. Because it almost seems like that's the woman that they get pregnant. So not only did they not want to get a woman pregnant, but they get the ones that are disrespectful, traumatized, like hell to pay. And I hear guys ask guys all the time, like, bruh, of all people, like, why'd you get her pregnant? No, the real question is, why are you intimate with her? She got all these toxic traits, right? You knew it was drama out the gate. And for whatever reason, you just kept up the shenanigans with this drama. You knew it. Like, you block her, she found another way, and next thing you know, she back in your bed. You curse her out, you ghost her, you do all these things, and she keeps coming back, and you take her back each and every time. Never not even really making her a girlfriend, but you feed into that. You feed into that energy, you feed into that attention, you feed into that toxic behavior, and you just kind of can't let it go. It's the trauma. It is the trauma that is making you normalize that behavior. Even though now as an adult, you know that it's unhealthy. You know that it can't go anywhere. It's like a bed of flowers, right? As long as you water them, they'll grow. But if you keep trampling on that bed of flowers, and this is over a period of time, they're going to cease to grow. They're just going to stop growing. So, again, this is why it's just super important to know your attachment styles. It's super important to tap into your childhood traumas, especially men who don't have great relationships with their moms. Then there's the men that the moms are just too involved. Too involved. She's involved in who you pick, when you see them, what you do with them. Like she's navigating the whole relationship and nobody is sticking around for it. That is a form of childhood trauma. If you have a clingy relationship with your mom, like you're always checking in on her, you're always checking up on her, maybe because you were in an environment where it wasn't safe for her. And as a little kid, you couldn't protect her, but as an adult, you will. At all costs. These things connect. Same with women and daddy issues. You know, if you had a lazy daddy, then you're going to get a hustling husband. Because the two don't connect. Or you may actually settle for a lazy man and take care of him like your mama did. I ain't trying to hurt nobody's feelings. We all got a story to tell. And as I said, I believe it was on episode 4, I would love for you to come in and tell that. But we don't want stories of just trauma. We want stories of triumph. We want to know your attachment style. When did you identify with it? And the things that you did to get over to the other side. Because there's people out here winning. Now, I don't know if there's as many people secured as unsecured. I'm gonna have to find the statistics on that and insert that either here or in the next video. Yeah, this world just feels like it's full of trauma. Trauma and drama. Like I said, you give a woman your trauma, she in return will give you drama. So, who was it that said, clean it up? Mama says, clean it up. Yeah, you might want to do that. You might definitely want to do that. And that's what we're here for. So, hey, I've probably already talked your ear off. You probably want me to go home now. So I'm going. Because I appreciate you inviting me in again, and I want to be able to come back. So I'm going. I'm leaving. So you know when the next one drops, next Monday at 12 noon. I hope to see you there. Thank you so much for your time, for your love, and your support. Until next time, bye, loves. If you or someone you know would like to come on and share your story or words of wisdom, please contact now.